The stakes are incredibly high. We are only hours out from the first presidential debate of 2024 where President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump are expected to take the stage and spar one-on-one, no audience, mics muted when the other person speaks. And this is incredibly unique and important. It's unique because it's the first time in American history that a former president has debated a sitting president, and it's incredibly important because the polls have been neck and neck. All election models show that the race is currently a coin flip. So this debate could persuade a lot of these independent, undecided voters and could tip the scales of the election. Donald Trump has spent all morning melting down on Truth Social, sending post after post after post in all caps, and I'll read some of those, but first, Laura Loomer just posted this to Twitter. She said, "Just in, at Joe Biden refused to take a drug test ahead of the presidential debate tonight. President Trump agrees to take a drug test, but Biden is now refusing." This is essentially confirmation that Joe Biden is going to have drugs injected to him ahead of the debate. Her logic does not follow whatsoever. It has never been the precedent that a sitting president has to take a drug test before a debate. And also, the burden of proof that Biden is on drugs falls on her. You can't use this as evidence. That's like Biden telling Trump that he needs to take an STD test, and when Trump is like, "No, I'm not going to take an STD test," Biden goes, "That is confirmation that Donald Trump has STDs." I wish things were that simple, but they're truly not. Laura Loomer is already just coping on Twitter. They're trying to set the expectations higher because they realize that they set them way too low for President Biden, and now when he comes on stage and he doesn't have dementia, he's not a senile old man, he can in fact put sentences together, they're going to be left looking stupid. So now they're saying, oh, he's hyped up on drugs. But it's interesting to me because they claim he has dementia, but they also claim that he has drugs that can solve dementia or fix dementia. That's just, there's no drug out there that exists, and if it does, they would be mass producing that and selling that for a profit, not just giving it to the president. And the idea that a drug like Adderall can fix dementia, which is what they claim Biden has, is also false. So Adderall does not fix any sort of dementia. It's made for ADD or ADHD. So Donald Trump on Truth Social was posting in all caps, "Why does Fox News," he made Fox News one word, "why does Fox News put so many Biden people like Michael Tyler, communications director for Biden, who spewed lies with very little pushback? Amazing." And this post just comes across as totally manic, even if we put aside the fact that it's in all caps. Look at how Fox News is spelled as one word, and then a few words later, in between many and Biden, he has two spaces, and then Michael Tyler has a line of his own before he starts a new line, communications director for Biden. The entire thing is full of so many little mistakes and little tells. Donald Trump is probably sitting there nervously shaking, sweating, not really knowing how he's going to approach this debate tonight because apparently he didn't prepare that much, and if he did, it was nowhere near the level of preparation that President Biden had at Camp David. Donald Trump then tweeted out, "Biden's policies are a nightmare for women when it comes to the border and immigration." That's a little sneak peek of some of the talking points that Donald Trump will most likely use tonight. You can almost hear it coming out of his mouth. Just try for a second. He's going to say, "Biden's policies are a nightmare for women when it comes to border and immigration." He's trying to win back that suburban women group that he is currently losing terribly. He then tweeted out in all caps again, "Joe Biden is a threat to democracy and a threat to the survival and existence of our country itself." If he says something like that on stage, that's when Joe Biden needs to take that moment to say, this is a man who pressured officials into finding 11,780 votes. This is a man who disrupted our peaceful transfer of power after holding a rally outside the ellipse. This is a man who wants to terminate the Constitution and pardon the January 6th hostages, which is what he calls them. That is a perfect moment for President Biden to highlight the real threat to democracy on stage. Donald Trump then randomly started posting pictures of notes that he has for his debate, different talking points that people gave him. I have no idea why he's posting these publicly before the debate. Maybe he doesn't plan on using them, or maybe he does and he's so dumb that he just wanted to post them either way. But this message reads, this came straight from Truth Social. He posted this picture. It says, "Mr. President, I am sure that a climate question will come up during your debate this week, and I suggest the following talking points." Andrew Wheeler sent this. He said, "Under my administration, CO2 emissions went down, and at the same time, we became more American energy dominant, which helps Americans at the gas pump and with their electricity bills." Except Biden did that, but even more so. Biden has passed multiple bills that increases manufacturing in America. And also, Donald Trump was the one that stripped a massive amount of EPA regulations and protections, whereas Biden passed a massive climate change bill. So even if you do cherry pick this one statistic about CO2 emissions, President Biden's record on climate change is way better than Donald Trump's objectively, just objectively better. It then says we can do both. Biden just increased energy costs for everyone. I disagree. I don't think Biden has done that. Biden also rejoined the Paris Climate Accord. The Paris Climate Accord is awesome. Don't let them tell you otherwise. And all that does is send American dollars overseas to benefit other countries like China. Again, that is not true. The Paris Climate Accord makes sure that all countries that sign keep their carbon emissions below a certain rate. It's good for our environment. Because of Biden's climate and tariff policies, everyone is buying Chinese solar panels instead of American energy. I also do not think that's true. It's a talking point that maybe sounds good. It'll be a good soundbite, but that is not true. Under my administration, we will continue to reduce CO2 and focus on American-made energy. That is absolutely not true. Even if they do reduce CO2, there are many charts and many studies showing that Biden's comprehensive plan will lower carbon emissions at a way faster rate than Donald Trump's. Hillary Clinton has been talking about this a lot. Joe Biden's plan is again objectively better. It then goes on. If you get pushback during rebuttal and you need another point, I like how Donald Trump just has people sending him notes of just random talking points. It's literally like the least coherent debate prep ever. Just have random lists of notes. It says, if you get pushback during rebuttal and you need another point, Joe Biden is shutting down U.S. energy, canceling pipelines, stopping federal leases. We still need the energy. That means we are importing more energy from countries that aren't our friends. When you transport gas halfway across the world, it means more CO2 emissions. Again, this is not true. While the Biden administration has emphasized the transition to cleaner energy sources, they have not completely shut down U.S. energy production. The administration supports the development of renewable energy and aims to reduce dependence on fossil fuels over a longer time period. Also, the cancellation of the Keystone XL pipeline does not mean we broadly shut down energy production in America. That's not how it works. But broadly speaking, the Biden administration's goal is to reduce carbon emissions both domestically and globally, and I don't think Donald Trump has the same goals, even if he does land a few sound bites. I think climate change should be one of President Biden's easiest topics tonight. Some other things that I think President Biden should hit on, if you've watched my earlier videos, that President Biden needs to get Trump to say on stage that the 2020 election was stolen, and once Donald Trump says that, yeah, it was rigged, Joe Biden can go into a rant about how Donald Trump thinks everything is rigged against him. Every court case, every election, even the primaries, even the Emmys back in 2012, this is a man who thinks that everything is rigged against him. Biden needs to point out that the Department of Education cannot be eliminated in the way that Donald Trump wants. If Donald Trump eliminates the Department of Education, it would further wealth inequality. Teachers would get a salary cut. Teachers would be laid off. Kids wouldn't have access to updated curriculum or updated technology. There are so many good moments that President Biden can trap Donald Trump in as long as he prepared, which we know he did at Camp David with his closest advisors. If you guys are excited for the debate, I'm about to be doing a live stream in about an hour. We can talk about different points. We can talk about Project 2025. It'll be a great time. Make sure you're there. Make sure you leave a like on this video, comment a blue heart, hit that subscribe button, and have a great day.